The death is announced of Marie Therese Best, better known as Ma Best, florist or Mama, who passed away peacefully at her residence, number 17th Smith Street, Wingville, Soufriere, on Saturday, 21st April 2012 at 7:45 a.m. She was 87 years old. She was a member of the Full Gospel Ministry Soufriere and a member of the Soufriere Mothers Group. Her 6 children, 1 daughter, Georgiana Alexander, also known as Miss Greggs or Miss Gregor, who was also her caregiver. 5 sons, Dr. Thomas Gaston, also known as Boulders or Desmond in the USA. Gilles Alexander, also known as Abbas. Lucianus Best, also known as Best in Canada. Constance Alexander, also known as Iron in the USVI. Emmanuel Alexander, also known as Fai. 21 grandchildren. Hartman Alexander, also known as Slaba or Chapeau. Erica Alexander in the UK, who was also her goddaughter. Ellery Gaston, Edric Alexander, Eric Alexander, also known as Trax, Eran Alexander, also known as EA, Gregory Florel Alexander, also known as Oily, student of the Choiseul Secondary School, all of Smith Street, Soufriere. Savannah Gustave, also known as Sabi, a student of the Leitang Combined School of Wingville Extension. Kimberly and Kelly Gaston in the USA. Lucianic and Lamar Alexander of the USVI. Imanelli, also known as Manley. Imanasa, Emanuela, Imanisha, and Carlton Ferdinand, all of Bexo. Cassan Normantine of Soufriere. Bertrand, also known as Richie. Imran, Gillan, Galiba, and Michigan Henry, all of Soufriere. Jan and Greg Best of Soufriere, and Dwayne Gustave of L'Espérance, Soufriere. 10 great-grandchildren. Tyra Alexander Kirby of the UK. Kieran Alexander, a student of the Soufriere Primary School, her special and favorite great-grandson. Jean Daisy of Market Road, Soufriere. Barclay, Risa, and Leo Henry, all of Market Road, Soufriere. Delaney Henry of Market Road, AJ and CJ Ferdinand of Bexall. Shani Semporian of Soufriere. Step-grandsons, Raheem D'Souza and Reno Perino of Soufriere. Adopted children, Deanne Hazel Prescott and family in St. Vincent and Barbados. Benedict St. Pre Charles and family in the USVI and the USA. Joel James and family of Bruceville, Vieux. Adopted grandchildren, Cushelle James of Smith Street. Marciana Henry and family of Grace, Vieux. 2 brothers, Anthony Alexander, also known as Gregor, and family of Redouy Groselet. Thomas Alexander and family of Soufriere. Son and daughters-in-law. 1 special son-in-law, Bernard Gustave, also known as Benna. 3 daughters-in-law, Dr. Kim Thorner Gaston, who was very special to her, resided in the USA. Estelle Best of Canada. Petula Alexander in the USVI. Granddaughters and grandsons-in-law, Flora D'Souza, who was also her favorite, and her family of New Development, Castries, and abroad. Joel Nelson and family of Smith Street, Soufrière. Letitia Joseph and family of Pierre Viefort, and Terry-Ann Thomas of Choiseul. Nieces and nephews, Albina Joseph and family in the UK, Rosalind Francis and family in the UK, Marcellus and Damien Mungu and family in Soufrière and the UK, Edward Mungu, also known as Elwin and family of Forbenier Soufrière, Emmanuel and Gilbert Mungu and their families in Soufrière and the USA, Camille Brooks and Theodora Norris and their families in the USA, Martha and Lucy in the USA, Carmen Mungu in the USA, who was also her goddaughter, and her family in Viefort, Barbados, and Canada, Cecilia Mungu and family in St. Lucia and Canada, Joan, Ashley, Cletus, and Linus Dolor, all of Soufrière. Many grand and great-grand nieces and nephews in St. Lucia and abroad, too numerous to mention. Cousins including the Cadet family of Palmis Soufrière, Ramonese Francis and family of Soufrière, Georgie Jean and family of New Development Soufrière and Castries, Romael Edward and family of Soufrière, Errol Alexander and family of Soufrière, the Alexander family of Soufrière, Sulphur Springs, and the USA. Special cousins, Eudocia Alexander and her family, Dorcas Tommy and the Marshall and her family, Marcella Lucien and her family of Palmist, Sandy Nelson and her family of Market Road, the Lucien family of Soufrière. Best friends of the deceased, Mrs. Lena Constantine and her husband of Soufrière. Close friend of the deceased, Mrs. Catherine Stanislas and family of Upper Bridge Street, Miss Meadows, also known as Ma Webbs of Viefort. Special and affectionate friends of the family, Johnson Nicholas and family in the USA, Martina Nicholas and her family in the USVI, Augustine Sidoni, also known as Elwin and family of Dacreton, Choiseul, Shaman Casabo and fiancé of Soufrière, Rosalind Fatal, also known as Sila and family of Castries, Marilyn Felix and family of Mondudot, Vanessa Joseph, also known as Dada, and her family of Smith Street and Canada, Gilroy Jean of Smith Street, Gabriel Jean of the USA, Liz Campbell and family of Choiseul, Honorable Richard in the Castries Central Constituency Branch, Joycelyn Fannis of Castries, Camilla Darius of Groseilliers, Sylvia Victor, also known as Ms. Arlette of Soufrière, Mr. and Mrs. Michael Carroll Charles in the UK, Mrs. Ursula Alcindor and family of Church Street, Soufrière and Canada, Elka St. Hill, Gillan, and Winsbott Octave and the Octave family of Smith Street and New Development, cherished friends, Linda Louis of the UK, Maba Emmanuel and family of Zeno, Claudina Harrell and family of Delayou Street, Soufrière, Gertrude St. Remy and family of Smith Street, Soufrière and the USA, Georgianne Semporian, also known as Miss Ross and family of Smith Street and Church Street, Freddie Clovis and family in the UK, Mr. Winston Charles of Crestland, Soufrière, Morel Felix in the USVI, Edwaline Felix, also known as Auntie of New Development, Soufrière, Sheena Joseph and family in the USA, Monette Francis and family of Smith Street, Eusiba Jean-Baptiste and family of Soufrière, Chantal Auguste of Forbenier, Leonie Samuel and family of New Development, Soufrière. Thomas Andrew, also known as Mr. Boys of Soufrière. Marina and Simon Jean and the Jean family of Church Street. Miss Barnett and family of Bridge Street, Soufrière. Also left to mourn, the pastor of the Full Gospel Ministry in Soufrière, Pastor Adrian Joseph and family, and Brother George of Castries, and the members of the Full Gospel Ministry of Soufrière and St. Lucia, the members of the Soufrière Mothers Group, many godchildren in Soufrière and abroad, including Ernest Felix in the USVI, the Theodule family of Crestland, Etang and Soufrière, the Saint-Aimé family of Forbenier, the Dolor family of Wingville Extension, the Doubelet family of Soufrière and Castries, the Butcher family of Soufrière, the Lendor family of Soufrière, the Albert family of Soufrière, the Hippolyte family of Zeno, the Gangadine family of Smith Street and Zeno, all her neighbors and friends of Smith Street, Dr. Joseph, Dr. Marquis, and Dr. Alexis, who cared for her during her illness, many other relatives and friends both here and abroad too numerous to mention. The funeral service of the late Marie Therese Best, also known as Ma Best, florist, or Mama, will be held at the Lady of the Assumption Roman Catholic Church, Soufrière, on Wednesday, 9th May 2012 at 3:30 p.m. and will be laid to rest at the Soufrière Cemetery. The wishes of the deceased is to celebrate her life in color. Persons attending the funeral service are kindly asked to wear bright colors in order to respect the deceased wishes. May her soul rest in perfect peace. The body now lies at the Lazarus Funeral Home, New Dock Road, Vieux-Fort.